The Agegroup podcast. The Agegroup podcast. The Agegroup podcast.
Just a couple of friends, local friends in the village who'd started, and a friend of mine who just lives up the road from me now, actually, he'd started doing 10Ks, and he was quite good, and I went out running with him and sort of really struggled, but was quite determined to keep up. And over a period of months, I sort of got so I thought I was okay, and then I did my first 10K at, I think it was Woodhall Spa.
Right.
I think I did it in about 50 minutes or something like that, which, wasn't amazing, but I was quite happy with it for a first step.
And that's the voice of this episode's guest, Ross Taylor. Great to speak to Ross and hear his journey into triathlon, duathlon and the GB age group team. From a long time playing football into 5 and 10K runs when the football came to an end, and then tried his hand at triathlon, realised there was a thing called duathlon, and he's never looked back. In this episode we talk about what that transition really looks like, and the mindset and the shift from team sport to endurance sport, and what it actually takes to go from giving it a go to pulling on the GB kit. So I hope you enjoy Ross's story. That's coming up. And you've probably noticed we have got some new intro and outro music, and I've got to say a big thank you to former guest Matty Earls, who has put this music together for us so we can use it going forward. It's much better than the last one, and I really do appreciate Matty's time and his effort and for sending it along. So a big thank you to Matt for that. Really does bookend the show really, really nicely. Welcome back to the Agegroup Multisport podcast with me, Richard Conway, and thanks once again for taking your time out to give the pod a listen. Much appreciated. So, what's been happening for the last couple of weeks since the last one went out? Well, we've been continuing with our Road to East Fortune training plan. We had 11 weeks at the start. We are now in week 4, which is what coaches like to call the deload phase. So every 4th week you reduce your volume and intensity by about 50 to 60%. And that's exactly what I'm doing this week. It's been going really well up to now. Main thing is that there's no injuries, no niggles, everything's going okay. Touch wood. And we're enjoying it. No podcast reviews again on this episode, but we have got a book recommendation, and it's called Win the Inside Game, and it's by Steve Magnus. And the book describes how we can move from surviving to thriving and free ourselves up to perform at our best. And the book's a 3-part framework to help us learn to focus on what really matters and achieve our highest success. So far, quite interesting. I've not finished it yet, but I can definitely recommend it. And as January is almost coming to a close, I'm a bit previous, I suppose, so is the cyclocross season, and with just the World Championships next weekend to go, it's been really good to watch this season, watching both Lucinda Brand and Matthew van der Poel just dominating the male and the female championships, and really can't see past them two to win the world title again, but you just never know. So that's coming up next weekend, and I'll definitely be tuning in for that. And as the cyclocross season comes to an end, the cycling has just started with the Tour Down Under. Both the men's and the women's has happened over the last week, and really good races, really brutal conditions, temperatures are really high, and some really good racing, apart from the day when the kangaroo decided to jump out and take out half of the peloton, and it didn't end very well for either party, to be honest. If you've not seen that, you'll find that on social media.
My name's Ross Taylor. I'm from Lincoln, currently moving up to the 55 to 59 age category. Looking forward to another season.
You just said you're in Lincoln. Whereabouts in Lincoln you are? Because I'm in Louth.
Okay, I grew up in Branston, just outside of Lincoln, and now living in Washington.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, it's about 3 miles outside of Lincoln.
Could have done it in person if we'd known. Right, yeah. So, what did you do growing up as a kid, sporting wise, then, Ross?
Just really, apart from the school sports, which I like to have a bit of a go at everything. Really, mainly football was what I excelled at and did during and after school, and right up to the age of nearly 40.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I decided I needed to quit football because I couldn't keep up with the 18-year-olds anymore that I eventually got into a little bit of running to start with, a couple of 10Ks and then triathlon.
Sure. And what position did you play?
I actually played pretty much every position. Sort of going through from the age of, a youngster up through under 12s, 13s. I played goalkeeper at one point. I had a lot of time playing right back, and then I went onto the wing when I had a bit of speed. And then in my later career, later amateur career, I played centre mid, where we had most success. What
was your favourite position out of all that?
I really enjoyed playing on the wing, actually, when I had a bit of pace. But I sort of enjoyed the centre mid just as much, I think, in the end. Yeah, it's box to box, so you need a bit more stamina in there, but pace isn't, you haven't got to go past people so much.
So that'll have give you a good engine anyway for going into running in the first instance. You'll have had a good strong base there doing football all those years. I know it's different, but...
Well, it's quite strange, actually, because when I was sort of 5-6 years old, I had quite bad asthma. And I did grow out of it eventually, but not until sort of my late teens, really. So that kind of hampered my footballing a little bit. I used to get asthma attacks from, too much strenuous exercise. That was one of the triggers. But yeah, I have no problems with that anymore. It's one of those things that you just grow out of, I believe. So.
Right. And did you have an inhaler and everything when you were a kid? And yeah.
I had to rely on that at some point. But.
Yeah, it must have been tough, I guess. Yeah. Cool. So you said that you got into running. How did that come about?
Just a couple of friends, local friends in the village who'd started, and a friend of mine who just lives up the road from me now, actually, he'd started doing 10Ks, and he was quite good, and I went out running with him and sort of really struggled, but was quite determined to keep up. And over a period of months, I sort of got so I thought I was okay, and then did my first 10K at, I think it was Woodall Spa.
Right.
I think I did it in about 50 minutes or something like that, which, wasn't amazing, but I was quite happy with it for a first effort.
What other races did you do? Did you increase the distance, or did you stick around the 5-10K?
Parkman wasn't around at the time that I'm aware of. Just a couple of 2 or 3 10Ks that I did, and then a friend of mine after that, he was into cycling. A guy from Metheringham, who's a bike mechanic, actually. I don't know if you know him, Damon Blackburn. He's a proficient cyclist, and he does mobile bike mechanicing from his base in Metheringham. And he got me into, he suggested, after I'd been biking with him a little bit, he said, there's a triathlon in Woodall Spa. You fancy giving it a go? Well, I hadn't swum since I was at school, and I was no good at swimming then, so I was a bit reluctant, but sort of went along and gave it a go and really, really enjoyed it, and did okay on the run and okay on the bike, and did breaststroke on the swim. Really slow. I think I did about 9 minutes, but really enjoyed it. So, and
funny you mentioned, well, two things there. Woodall Spa, that's a local one to us. There was
right.
3 events. There was Woodall Spa, Lincoln,
and Southall.
At the Dave Lloyd and Southall, that's right, yeah. That was a good 3 triathlons that you could do each year, like locally, wasn't it?
Yeah. I ended up getting hooked. So, yeah, they were sort of my staple for a while, doing those 3 and a few others. And, yeah, I can't count how many times I've done Woodall. I've done Southall a couple of times, and I did the Lincoln one about 4 or 5 times, I think.
Yeah. And now they've just brought Woodall back the last couple of years, haven't they?
That's right, yeah. I've done it once since they brought it back, but after that we've been away doing other events and stuff, so we've not been able to do it recently. But Woodall was always my favourite, and probably still is my favourite sprint.
And just you mentioned breaststroke. I just have a guest on. The podcast just come out today, and she's an Ironman Kona athlete. And she swims breaststroke. That's what she does.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The whole thing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, yeah, well, whatever works, isn't it? You know what I mean?
That's quite interesting to me, actually, because to this day, I think I can swim as fast breaststroke as I can from crawl. My technique's never been there. I've had coaching. I've watched every video going on YouTube.
Yeah.
Used to swim 3 times a week, but my swimming never really improved. It did slightly, but, my 100-metre time maybe went down by 10 seconds when I was really putting the time in. So saw no real gains. So
that's the thing. It's you've got to, for me as well. It's you've got to put a lot of effort in for little gain, haven't you? To do the swimming, and it's one of the least accessible as well, because by the time you get to the pool or whatever, it's all time, isn't it? Whereas you can put a pair of trainers and go out the door, or you can jump on your turbo or jump on the bike because it's at home.
I think one of the things is I've always had very stiff ankles. I don't know if it's from running or football or whatever, but my kick is pretty much non-existent. I think it's more an anchor than propulsion. Heavy legs is another thing. I don't body position perhaps, but it's not. I think also that if in triathlon, if one of the disciplines you're not that good at, you find it harder to enjoy it. I do anyway. So I kind of enjoy the run and I enjoy the bike because I feel like I'm making improvements and I'm okay at it. But the swim, especially in the pool, go week in, week out, and having to force yourself. And that's actually why I ended up getting into duathlon.
Well, I mean, I always say on the podcast, it's the beauty of multisport, isn't it? Because there's an event for everybody, really. If you don't like swimming, you've got duathlon for us, and again you've got aquathon and aquabike as well as triathlon. So
something for everyone now. Aquabike and stuff like that. I don't remember being around a few years ago when I got into the sport, but certainly they're all over there now, aren't they? They're never. Yeah, well, I think for a reason, I guess.
Yeah, I think the events, teams have grasped that people probably don't like running, and this is an event we can put on and run it alongside the triathlon. So why wouldn't you? You're getting more people on board, aren't you? Really, and it's great for the sport, isn't it? At grassroots level, it's great for people to be able to take part. Really. So you said that you'd done Woodall. How did the triathlon? How did you find out about triathlon? How did that all come about?
Like I say, the guy I met, who I went to school with from Metheringham, the bike mechanic, I don't know how he knew about it, but I didn't know about that he did short triathlons. I'd seen it on the telly before, and I think I used to watch Tim Don and people like that. They were a bit inspirational. But, he said, there's a sprint version at Woodall, and I didn't really know much about it, so I went along and did that. But once I'd done that, I was pretty hooked and did all the sprints, and then wanted to do a standard distance. So I thought, right, I'm going to have to teach myself to swim from crawl, which I did. As I said, not very well, but I thought I don't want to be in a lake in the wetsuit doing breaststroke while everyone else is doing front crawl. I felt that, I mean, I wouldn't now, I wouldn't be embarrassed at all now, but at the time I felt that was like, would be embarrassing to be doing breaststroke. But it doesn't, like I've entered, or me and my partner have entered Ironman Austria next year, and we've just started getting back into swimming, and I'm actually considering, you know, perhaps doing some breaststrokes on crawl in that event, because I'm probably going to work more on the bike and the run and just try and get through the swim, do it in a half reasonable time. But, you know, I think your time is much better spent on the bike and the run in that event, because there's more gains to be made than there are on the swim. You can spend a hell of a lot of time training for the swim and make up, you know, 3 or 4 minutes max, maybe. Whereas on the bike, you could make up half an hour training. So that's probably going to be part of the plan.
Yeah. So you've done longer distances. You started off with a sprint, but you got into longer distances.
Yeah, moved up to standard, and then I actually decided, before having done a half, that I wanted to do the outlaw as just a big challenge, really. And as part of the training for that, I actually did a half at Beaver Castle, which went pretty well, and then did my first full outlaw in 2013, and again got kind of like hooked just the same way I got hooked to the sprint triathlon. I got hooked to that, and I ended up doing that for the following 2 years in a row. Just wanting to better my time, which I managed to do each time. And then I absolutely loved that. And like I say, we're hopefully doing an Ironman branded one now next year, which will be 11 years after the last one that I did.
Right, yeah. So looking back on it, what do you prefer? Do you prefer the shorter distances overall, or do you like the longer distances?
I do like the sprint duathlon, because I feel that's what I've had most success at. Once the swim's out of the equation, I'm a half decent runner and my bike's okay. So obviously managed to qualify for GB and stuff with that, which isn't something that I felt I could do with the triathlon, although I did once, which I've spoken to you about already. I qualified in 2018 for Gold Coast standard distance duathlon, and that was a really good experience as well. Not my favourite distance, and again, a 1500 metre swim in open water, which again I'm not a big fan of. Came dead last in the swim. I actually qualified in the last place, the last roll down place as well, after a qualifier at Chester, Diva.
Okay, yeah.
And that was a river swim where I got cramp with the current in my favour, and then had to turn around and swim against the current. Absolutely atrocious swim. I think I did 36 minutes, 1,500 metres.
Right.
But made up places on the bike and the run and just managed to qualify. That was an amazing experience. I think I would say I enjoy all the distances equally, but obviously you get that little bit extra enjoyment out of something when you're at the pointy end of the results. You know, getting a top 10 is always a nice feeling.
Yeah. So just going back, you mentioned obviously you've qualified for GB now several times. Was it 9 times?
9 times now.
Yeah. How did you find out about Agegroup in the first place?
Well, that was through. I was a member of Lincoln Triathlon Club for quite a few years, which was great. It's really good for when you first got into the sport, because you got to meet other people, you got to talk about, you know, tips and tricks and transition and all this sort of stuff. And they had a good social scene there at the time, and track nights and pushing yourself against other people. So that's what I was involved in when I was doing the sprint triathlons to start with, and as I moved up. And it was through that I heard about the GB thing. But like I mentioned before, I just felt that I was hindered by the swim, and I thought I'm not good enough to qualify for that. But then someone mentioned duathlon, which I didn't even know existed. Only a GB, there's a GB option. And suddenly I thought, well, my run's okay, and my bike's getting better. So I thought that's something maybe I could give a go to, and that's what I did. And I started going to the sprint duathlon qualifiers, and for the first whole 2 years, I didn't even manage to get a roll down place. I was getting slightly better and slightly closer, and I think 1 year I missed out. I think I worked it out because I get a bit of a stato on the roll downs, and I think I missed out by like a second or something, or the equivalent of 1 second, and I would have got a roll down. So I was absolutely gutted.
Yeah.
But then the third year of trying, I managed to get a roll down and qualified for Denmark team.
Yeah, I mean, your age group and the age group that you're just moving up to, and I think all the way through that 5-year age group of yours, mine, the one above, it's so competitive. There's so many athletes in those ages compared to the others, and it doesn't seem to be backing off at all either. The older you get, everybody's moving up and everybody's still doing it. It's really, really competitive.
That was something I noticed quite early when I looked on the British Triathlon website. I was like, wow, why is it that the age group I've decided to start in seems to be like the most populated and competitive? So, but yeah, I got there in the end. But like you say, it is really, really competitive. So, to start with, I was just absolutely delighted to have qualified, and I thought that was the pinnacle.
Yeah,
you know what the sport's like, and we're all the same. Qualifying was great, and I thought that was it. And then after I qualified for a few, and I'd done a few events, and I started getting slightly better positions. I think the first time I was 25th or something at Denmark, and then I finally got in the top 10 one time, and I thought, well, hang on a minute, maybe getting a podium's not out of the question if I keep working at it. And that's the new goal, really. It's to do that. I've just moved up an age group. I'll be moving up an age group this coming year.
Yeah, you're in my age group now.
Are you in 55 to 59?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we'll probably have one season of racing together, I think.
Right.
And then I'll move up to the 60 to 64.
I see.
So,
well, the last time I moved up an age group, unfortunately, was the year of COVID.
Right.
And then obviously that carried on for another year.
Yeah.
So by the time races had started again, I was already halfway through the age category, so I kind of missed out on the advantage there. So this is the next chance to hopefully make the most of being the youngest in the age category.
Yeah. Yeah, well, good luck with that. Not too much good luck, but good luck with it all the same. You'd qualified, like you said, we discussed the Gold Coast.
The only thing that I remember is just being really scared because I've got like a bit of a shark phobia, and I've got a lot of friends who live there who said, oh yeah, there are sharks in the water there. So I was like waiting for the swim to start, thinking, oh God. And I know I was sort of probably the worst there, and I actually was, because I was last out of the water by quite a way. And in my head I was thinking, if I was a shark, who would you go for? Probably the one flailing at the back.
But I think it was all netted off, wasn't it, that where we were swimming?
I don't know.
I believe it was, yeah. I sort of remember that. I don't think there was any. I don't think there was any danger in where we were swimming.
One thing that was quite funny is that for the first time I can remember, my bike was racked at the end of a rack. So it's like the easiest to find. And I thought, oh, great. When I was racking, thinking, oh, brilliant, I've got a really good position. But then obviously when I came out of the swim, my bike was the only bike there anyway.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to find.
So it was quite easy to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's funny. You found out about age group. And how did you find the whole process anyway? Over the years doing this podcast, people have really struggled to grasp, what you've got to do and how you get into it. And how did you find that? Did you have somebody to help you do it, or did you just?
Yeah, well, I think I got quite a bit of info from other people at the Tri Club of, this is the website you need to go on, and it tells you where the qualifiers are, and you pay your money, you turn up, you do your race, and work out how the roll down system works. And I don't think it's that difficult. It's a little bit of guidance. I think probably, if anything, it was the advertising of it, if you like. For a long time, I didn't know duathlon was a thing. I didn't even know that the triathlon thing was. I thought you had to be a lot better to qualify. You had to be elite almost, or just under elites to be representing GB. But to learn that it works on an age group basis, and the beauty of it is you can keep going forever. Because, as long as you want to, as long as your body lets you, you're competing against equals. It's just I think it's probably more people know about it now than they did 10 years ago, I would say.
So you've like we said, you've qualified and raced several times. What's been your favourite race that you've done?
My favourite race in terms of how well it was organised, and the expo and the whole thing, was probably Gold Coast. The one we were at. The expo there was pretty amazing, and the fact that it was also the finale of the World Champs, wasn't it, for the elite? So we raced, and then in the afternoon we watched the Brownlees, and I think Mario Mola won that race, and it was just a great atmosphere and really well organised. Other than that, I would probably say Townsville, again Australia, different part last year. Had my best finished 6th in my age category. Took my kids and my partner, and took her kids with her as well, so we were all there as a sort of extended family, and had an extended holiday afterwards. That was a really nice experience.
Yeah, and I think that's it, isn't it? It's what we do. Make a holiday out of where we decide whether we want to go, really. And then we make a holiday out of it as well around the race.
That's one of the other beauties of it, I think, is that it's not just the race. Because obviously a lot of times you wouldn't go, especially with the sprint, to go all the way to Australia to do an hour race. Some people think that's crazy, but it is if you were just going to fly there, do the race and fly back. But I think we stayed, me and my partners, our kids came out for a couple of weeks and they flew back, and we stayed out for 6 weeks in total, and went all the way up the East Coast and back down again. And the same, next year we've qualified for Banyuls. We've both qualified for Banyuls and Abu Dhabi, and again we'll take our camper van to Banyuls and do an extended holiday. And same with Abu Dhabi, we'll go for a couple of weeks and go to Dubai, and that's somewhere we've never been. So.
And that's it, isn't it? It takes you to places that you probably wouldn't go as a destination holiday, but because you're going to go and race and experience the cultures and stuff, it's like takes you to places that
and even,
ordinarily you wouldn't go.
Even in Europe, some of the ones in Spain, people say, a lot of races are in Spain, a bit of repetition, but they're often in places that you wouldn't normally go.
Yeah. Well, they've just announced 3 new races over in Spain for 2027.
That's right,
Yeah. So they're prepared to take them on, aren't they? And they generally do a good job. Yeah.
I think that's it. I think they're probably, places are repeated, but if British Triathlon are limited, World Triathlon are limited to people who are putting their name in the hat to host these events, and they're obviously going to be nervous about giving them to people who've never done it before in case it's a disaster. So that's why, it's been at Pontevedra numerous times. It's been at Transylvania numerous times. Places like that they'll go back to because they know how to do it. Doing that, and it does surprise me sometimes. Like I say, 9 times I've represented, and there are, quite a few people who, you see on the Facebook group and stuff who say, oh, we're going to land on Friday morning, race Saturday and fly back Sunday. And yeah, I think if you're that dedicated that you want to do, you're limited to. But yeah, I think, wow, that would be just too stressful for me. I think, I like to get there a couple of days before and, relax and work out what's what, build your bike.
Just suss it out. Yeah, I'm the same. I like to be there a few days before. If we're racing the weekend, I like to get there at least the Wednesday or whatever. So you've qualified for Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Where did you get your qualification for? Which race did you do?
I think it might be Mallory Park. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That was one of them. That rings a bell. But I think last year me and my partner Vicky, Vicky Brooks, she races in the 45 to 49 category. We both qualified at the first qualifier for both Europeans and World last year, which takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
So, but I think the first one was Mallory Park for the Worlds. But yeah. But more recently, in recent years, I tend to be able to get a queue, Q1, Q2, Q3. Whereas for the first few years, I was always sweating out on the roll down, checking the website,
Yeah, because all the races I was saying this the other day as well. It's quite a tactical. Unless you can nail it and you're up there within the top four and you're one of the fast in your age group, it's very technical and tactical as to what races you might enter or might not enter to suit your strengths and also who else is there. And
definitely, because for example, if you know a few of the decent people in your age category qualified at the first one, they're probably not going to race the other two.
Yeah. Some
people do, but
yeah. Well, I had that this year where the fastest in our age group, he'd already queued. He got a PQ, but then he rocked up at Darley Moor. And you're thinking, oh God, I thought I was safe. Actually, it turned out all right, so it was all right. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? So that's a great story that you've shared with us today, and I hope you do well in both Banyoils. We were going to be there because Mrs. C, she's qualified, but our eldest son's getting married that weekend, so that's put the kibosh on that. So we won't be there, but we will be in Abu Dhabi. So we'll see you on the start line there.
Banyoils might be a bit of a challenge for me and Vicky because we're doing, as I mentioned before, we're doing Ironman Austria, which is only 4 weeks before.
Right.
So we're going to be doing a bit of active recovery and then see how it goes. But we're sort of treating Banyoils as maybe not the A race of the year. Abu Dhabi, probably the A race along with the Ironman, and then we'll do as best as we can with the recovery we can get for Banyoils. But we're definitely going to be there. We're qualified, and we're going to go in a camper van to Austria, and then we're going to spend the 4 weeks driving slowly across Spain to do that. So
and are you going to do any qualifying races this next year for the year after?
Again, Canada's somewhere we've never been, and it's on our bucket list to go. So after watching the Race Around the World program, it was on Canada. It looked spectacular. So when we saw that 2027 was going to be Canada, we thought, right, that's definitely one we want to qualify for. For the same reason we talked about earlier. We like to race, but we like to travel. So there'll be another extended holiday there if we do manage to get there.
Well, listen, thank you for sharing that story. Much appreciated. All we've got left is the quickfire questions now, and the first one is, what's your favourite bit of kit?
Favourite bit of kit at the moment is, I've just been building a new bike.
Right.
For the Ironman in Austria, which is the first new bike I've had in about 7 years. And it's an Elves bike that I bought, and I'm putting it together, and I'm just in the finishing stages, and I just keep going and looking at it and stroking it. And So
what have you got on it then?
It's it's got a tri-spoke front wheel. It's one of the ones that's it's a bit like the Cervelo P5 design.
Yes.
So it's not actually legal for UCI legal duathlons. I can use it for the Ironman, which is what it's for. And then I'll have to, obviously, but the sprint races, you don't use that type of bike anyway. So, but that at the moment is, it's my pride and joy. I keep just going and staring at it.
Is that the P5? Is that the monocoque?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's called the Els Anamyar. Is the model, but it's the same sort of design as the
seat sort of floats over the back. Oh, nice, yeah. I love that style. I think they really look really cool.
Well, I always used to drool over that Cervelo when it came out.
Yeah,
obviously they're about 12 grand, I think. So
yeah, I know Reap Bikes, the British manufacturer, they do one as well.
Right. It's nice. So that's my little pleasure.
So are you building it yourself? Or?
Yes. Yeah. I bought the frame, the handlebars, and the wheels from Elves.
Right.
They do like a good deal if you buy the 3, and then I bought all the other stuff separately from Merlin Cycles and eBay and stuff like that, and I've put it all together.
Nice.
So, just got the seat left to put on it now. I'm waiting for a new saddle to come, and then once that's on, I can test it out.
Cool. Oh, lovely. Well, that'll be a joy to ride anyway, won't it? So no matter what, it'll be really nice. So yeah, cool. What does a week of training look like at the moment for you?
At the moment, well, me and Vicky have just signed up with Peak Sports Coaching, Johnny Notton. I don't know if you know him at Boston, but we're not starting until the 1st of January. So we're hoping that's going to help us with our 2026 plan. He's got a really good reputation, but at the moment we're sort of just ticking over, and I'm going for a run this afternoon, swam yesterday, but nothing too strenuous. I did the Sherwood Pines Duathlon Sunday just gone.
I was down to do that, but obviously we were away, so I couldn't do it. I did it the year previously. I really enjoyed it. Yeah,
it was really good. I didn't do it last year, but a friend of mine did, and he said, because I did it when they ran it. I think One Step Beyond ran them years ago. Did it then, and then I think it's been taken over by Wild Deer Events.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it wasn't too cold, which is good.
Yeah. When we did it, it was about 15 degrees.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
that was good fun.
So have you ever considered trying to qualify for a cross duathlon?
Well, one of the friends that I've made through the GB is a guy called Simon Clark, who's from Doncaster, Sheffield way.
Yeah, I know Simon. I've met him a couple of times at races, yeah.
I actually met him at Alton Park at the very first qualifier I ever did, and got talking to him. And literally, I see him at nearly every qualifier, every GB event that I've qualified for, he's been there. So I never see him any other time. I feel like I know him really well. And he was actually at Sherwood Pines on Sunday. So we had caught up again. And he does that. Yeah.
This year I did the World Champs at Pontevedra. And again, I'd come off an injury, so that stopped my running with Achilles. So to get back into the age group, I didn't think I'd be competitive enough to get into doing the normal duathlon. So I thought, I'll have a go at the cross, and I loved it. It's been really, really good.
I wouldn't mind it. Like I say, I did this one on Sunday, and I did okay. But I did it on a gravel bike, which I found out after the event that you can't use it as a qualifier unless you're on a mountain bike. But I wasn't aware of that. But Simon said to me a few times, he said, you ought to have a go at it. It's good fun. But I think the thing that's been difficult with the events is because me and Vicky go together and we both take bikes, we go in our camper van.
Yeah.
We've got room for both bikes, but we wouldn't have room for any more bikes. And obviously, if you're going somewhere and you fly in, it's 2 bikes. And it's like doing that instead of the sprint. Or Simon goes in his camper van on his own and he takes 2 bikes if it's in work. So that's a bit of a... Yeah. I'd like to do standard as well, but the same thing is like getting 2 bikes to an event is often not the easiest.
No, not the easiest thing to do. Your training's just ticking over until you start this new coaching plan that you're going to get together. And is that going to be dialed into Ironman rather than the shorter distances?
Well, we spoke to the new coach, and he said that you can't really effectively train for an Ironman on a sprint that successfully. But he said the best thing you can do is treat Banyuls, which is 4 weeks after the Ironman, as like a B or a C race.
Yeah.
And then train properly for the Ironman, and then you'll have time to train properly for Abu Dhabi because you'll have another 6 months then.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. Banyuls will do as well as we can with the fatigue that we'll still have, I guess.
And what's the best bit of advice you've been given?
The thing that comes to mind recently is listen to your body, especially as I'm like 55 in January, and I've noticed that, rest days are a little bit more important than they used to be. So,
do you take a full rest day?
Last year I was doing a full rest day, yeah. But I've watched some stuff on YouTube and some people saying, you need 2 rest days if you're over 50. But, I think it depends, because one person who's over 50's body is different to somebody else's. So I just think it's that, listen to your body. And rather than have a set amount of days, it's like, if you feel like you need it, take it.
Yeah.
Because it takes longer to lose fitness than it does to gain it. So
100%.
I think people fear that if you have too much rest, you're going to lose, but you don't. It takes weeks and months to lose. But, you can overtrain. That's
100%. Yeah, I totally agree. And as you're getting older, you need that. You need to give your body some grace and give it that rest day. I mean, that's what I take a rest day every week, and it seems to help, especially after a hard day, and you feel sore or whatever. It's just it's welcoming, I think. Last couple of questions is your short-term goals. We've already discussed going to be Banyuls and Abu Dhabi. Yeah. What's your long-term goals?
Well, long-term goal is to get a podium for GB, and I've always also had I didn't actually think I'd do an Ironman again after doing the Outlaw 3 years in a row. I thought that's that done, box ticked. But it was Vicky, my partner, who said she wanted to do an Ironman before she was 50, and she's 50 next August. So she said, I'd like to do that. And I said, well, if you want to do it, I'll do it with you. But, how most of us triathletes are, I'm like, well, if I'm doing it, I'm doing it. I'm not just going to go along and for the ride just because you're doing it. So then all of a sudden I'm thinking, well, the best time I did at the Outlaw was just over 11 hours. So then, like you do, I'm like, well, what sort of time do you need to qualify for Kona at this age category? And according to Google, it's somewhere around between 10 and a half and 11 hours.
Right.
So I'm thinking, is that impossible?
Yeah.
That would be an absolute, a dream above dreams for me, would be at Kona. Probably a bridge too far, especially with my swimming. But you never know. So that would be the ultimate dream.
Right.
The one below that would be just to get a podium place, just to stand on that, and be at that event ceremony and get a medal instead of watching everyone else get them and just missing out by a few places.
Yeah. Good luck with it all. I hope it all comes to fruition. And thank you once again for coming on the podcast. Much appreciated.
Thanks for inviting me. It's been great.
Well, that was great to chat to Ross Taylor. Thank you once again, Ross, for coming on and sharing your story on the Agegroup Multisport podcast. Really, really much appreciated. If Ross's stories got you thinking about your own path into multisport, or even chasing age group qualification, make sure that you're subscribed to this podcast so you never miss a future episode like this one. And if you did find this one useful, share it with training partners, like-minded people, or someone who's thinking about maybe taking that next step. Thanks for listening. And if you are an age grouper and you would like to come onto the podcast and share your story like Ross did, then please do get in touch. You can email us at the Agegroup Multisport Podcast at gmail.com. We're on Instagram and you can DM us at amp_podcast. We're on Facebook at Richard Joseph Conway, and we're on YouTube, and our channel is AmpGB. So thank you once again for listening, and don't forget, stay safe, keep training, and love the process.
The Agegroup Podcast. The Agegroup Podcast. The Agegroup Podcast. The Agegroup Podcast.